I'm lost, Demas, because it then looks like out of the 5 points of agenda, there's none that the two of you think are worth speaking about there. But let me just be specific on auditing of the 2022 presidential election, electoral justice and related matters, but also the question of boundaries, delimitation and reconstitution of IBC.
Yes.
What is auditing 2022 elections and where does that lie?
As a person who firmly believes in the rule of law, I believe that certain questions about the last election should have ended with the Supreme Court decision, so that we now move forward. And if there are lessons to be learned, the political parties learn the lessons. What did they do wrong? What do they do right? There's another conversation to have as to whether 14 days is enough to litigate a presidential petition in Kenya. Is it? Because I've had even judges lament that it is actually quite constraining. So that is it enough for the truth to come out? But as far as from the rule of law perspective, we are through with that. Boundary delimitation is a function of the IBC. The IBC, as it stands, has a few vacancies that actually should be filled according to the law. So the discussion about how to do that, I wonder whether it is ripe for discussion. However, if it is indeed a problem that Kenya has, or that certain, on how we choose commissioners really has an effect on how elections happen, and then we should also ask ourselves, how were the last commissioners chosen? Because you realize that it went through a certain legal process that the courts actually found to be unconstitutional, but actually said that it is too late for us to do anything.
Right.
The same parties that are lamenting were involved in that process. And so we go back again to that political expediency issue where
yet again, the law was amended in October last year.
Exactly.
And actually there's a selection panel that has already received applications for people who want to be commissioners. They were just about to do the shortlisting. Now they haven't since April until now.
Yeah.
Is that extra constitutional or it's okay?
Well, is it okay? I do not think it is okay, because that is a legal process that had begun. But it really, issues to do with elections are quite emotive. And I remember doing some research the other day about how the constitution, the changes that were made to the Political Parties Act caused so much confusion, because political parties, what they thought meant direct nomination, whereby they choose someone directly, was actually in the Political Parties Act. It meant directly getting votes from the people. And so there was that whole confusion, and we went through a whole election after that. So we need to set IBC in order early, because it's a very important body,
right?
And we know that it is now time to do boundary delimitation. And one wonders whether the discussion between these two parties will yield a fair process or not, or will it serve their purposes?
Okay.
Yeah, because boundary delimitation is actually part of the universal suffrage, It is part of every person's entitlement to representation and to resources to some extent.